Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauramani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gauram Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so we are continuing to read Madhurya Kādambini because we are almost halfway through the book. I wanted to put this verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It's in first part, fourth chapter, which gives the order of bhakti, the stages of bhakti. Adav Shraddha, Tatala Sadhu Sango Atha Bhajana Kriya, Tato Anartha Nivriti, Tasya, Tato Nishta Rucis Tataha, Tata Saktis, Tato Bhavas, Tatah Prema Abhyudhanchati, Sadhakana Mayam Premnaha, Pradurbhavaha, Bhaved Kramaha. So it says first, what are all the stages of bhakti? First one is Adav Shraddha. In the beginning there is Shraddha, faith. Faith that in the meanings of the bhakti scriptures and turning toward the Lord. You know, we have been so far turned away from the Lord. Now, once the Shraddha arises, we start turning toward the Lord. That is Shraddha. And then you get Sadhu Sangha, that is the association of the devotees. You have faith in the devotees as well as faith in the scripture. So you take association of them and you learn bhajana kriya, how to perform bhajan. So you do chanting, you do read Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and other activities of bhakti. Then anartha nivriti starts happening, destruction of unwanted anarthas. Anarthas themselves are unwanted. Destruction of anarthas. Dirt in the heart is removed. And then nishta, steadiness. So we saw that steadiness means a steadiness in enthusiasm to do service to the Lord all the time. And most of the anarthas are destroyed by this stage. We also saw the different types of, some percentage and all we have seen how much percentage it gets destroyed. Then Ruci comes, taste. And this chapter is going to talk about Ruci. And after Ruci, there is Bhava and then Prema. So Bhava is glimpse of love of God. And Prema is actually love of God. So at this stage, you will get the glimpse of love of God and you will actually start seeing Krishna directly, face to face. Okay. So we are reading this chapter, Ruci, what's going to happen. It's very close to Bhava stage. Sorry, and there is Asakti also, I missed it. Which is attachment. Which is the next chapter. So basically, Rupa Goswami is saying this is going to come gradually. Okay, Ruci. Atha abhyasa Krishna Vartma Deepitam Bhakti Kanchana Mudram Swatejasa Vahantim Dadhane Bhakta Hridi Tasyam Ruchihi Utpadyate. So when does Ruci happen? When do we come to this stage? He says, so bhakti is like a gold coin, right? So, but when you retrieve the gold coin of or gold from a gold mine, it's going to have a lot of impurities. It will be dark in color. You have to purify it. So how do you purify? You actually put fire to it, sort of melt it. Then the more fire you put, the more it gets purified. So here the fire is abhyasa, repetition of your bhajana kriya. nicely doing. Krishna Vartma Deepitam, by that fire, which happens in the Nishta stage. So before that, we are having struggle in doing our bhajan. We aren't doing with the same enthusiasm every day. But in the Nishta stage, it becomes very steady. And because of that abhyasa, continuous effort of that fire of, practice, then the bhakti becomes more and more purified, our bhakti toward the Lord. So tejasa vahantim. So then it carries its own tejas, effulgence. It becomes very effulgent. Then when that bhakti arises in the heart of the devotee, at that time, the ruci happens. Right? Basically, you need to do a lot of practice with so much enthusiasm. Then the taste comes. Then what is that taste? Sometimes when we chant Hare Krishna mantra, we also feel some taste. Or when we sit in the kirtan, we feel some taste. And when we read Srimad Bhagavatam, we feel some taste. When we distribute books, we feel some taste. When we preach to others, we feel some taste. So, but what is this taste? What is the speciality of this stage called Ruci? Shravana Kirtanadinam Anyataha Vilakshanyena Rochakatvam Rucihi. So he says that Rochakatva, the hunger or appetite for Shravana, Kirtana, hearing, chanting, and all other bhakti activities, if your appetite is more than you have appetite for anything else, that is called Ruci. Your hunger for chanting, reading, and smarana and all other bhakti activities, if it is too intense, then you are in desire for, let's say, eating good food or making yourself happy, or going to some enjoyment park, or going to movie theater, whatever it is, right? If your ruchi for this is greater than anything else in your life, for your family or anything else, if it becomes like that, then that is the stage of ruchi. Yasyam utpadyamanayam purvadashayam iva taihi muhu api anushilitaihi na shrama upalabdhi gandha api. So in the previous stages, we had so much difficulty in performing bhakti. We're struggling, sometimes it's good, sometimes we are struggling to chant our rounds. Somehow we try to complete it in the morning so that, it doesn't come and bother us in the evening. I was hearing from one devotee was saying that as the evening, as the day progresses and we reach the evening, it becomes very fearful because, if we have not completed your chanting rounds, then, that's our inspiration to chant. Somehow or the other, out of fear, we have to complete our chanting. But here in this Ruci stage, it's not like that. There is no difficulty, not even a scent of difficulty. Gandha apish. You don't have any difficulty at all because you have a lot of hunger for it. When somebody is giving you food, nice preparation, if you don't have hunger for it, and then that preparation is also not so much of your taste, then you would not like to have it. But when you have a lot of hunger and somebody is offering something you like it very much, then there is no effort in taking that food. So it's like that. Yahi teshu vyasanitvam achiradeva utpadayati. So from Ruci stage to Asakti stage, it's going to be a very easy progress. So actually after Nishta, everything else is easy. It's going to be very fast. But this the long thing that's going to happen is the destruction of the anartha, sanartha, nivritti. This is going to be a very longer stage for usually in general for the devotees. Yatha nityam shastram adhiyanasya batoho kale shastrata praveshe sati shastrasya rochakatvam utpadyamanameva tam tatra shramam na upanayati asanjayati cha. So he gives an example that when we go to a school and when we start studying for the first time, right, we feel so much difficulty in studying, so much information overload, so many new terms are introduced, and we don't know for some of the concepts we are understanding, some of the concepts are going over our head. it becomes very difficult. But once we have learned it nicely and then repeated it multiple times, we have become expert in that subject, then it becomes very easy, and not only easy, it becomes very relishable also to read the school books or whatever courses we are taking. Similarly, he also gives the example of Batu, the brahmachari who goes to the Gurukul. When the Shastra Artha enters into his head, then he gets a taste for reading the Shastra. Then there is no difficulty in that. And not only that, he also has taste in that. It is like that, he says. Vastutah siddhante tu paitike vaigunyena dushitayam rasanayam sitaya sitayaha acharokatve api sitayeva tadvaigunye nirasakam. So, it's a long sentence. We'll just do it part by part. Paitika Vaigunya, this is the disturbance of the pitta in your body. If your body, pitta gets agitated and becomes too much, you get jaundice. Your eyes become very yellow. And what happens when you get jaundice? Nothing tastes good. You put sugar in your mouth, it tastes very bad because the tongue is affected by this jaundice. But that itself is the medicine. So according to Ayurveda, you have to take sugar. So that sugar, very condensed sugar, that becomes the medicine for jaundice. So you have to take it as a tonic, medicine. So by taking that again and again, using our intelligence, an intelligent person does like that, vivekinaha. So when we do that again and again, then slowly, we'll start gaining that taste for bhakti. So sorry, not bhakti. What is that? The sugar. So the jaundice slowly reduces, and then you get taste for the sugar. So similarly, we are also affected by this avidya, jaundice called avidya, ignorance of who we are and ignorance of who the Supreme Lord is. Even though we have a theoretical understanding, we don't have a practical experience of it. So we are affected by that. But using our intelligence, we should understand that this is the medicine. By continuing to perform the bhakti activities, my antakarana, my heart is going to be cleaned up nicely, and then it is going to go down all the anarthas in my heart. And at the time, the taste will automatically start coming out from bhakti. Before I move, any questions or any reflection anybody has? All right. So he says, Sacha Ruci Dvivita. The Ruci is of two types. The first type is Vastu Vaishishtya Apekshini Tad Amnipekshini Cha. The first type is you expect some excellence in the bhakti activities. The second type is you don't expect any excellence. So let's actually type it down. Vastunam Bhagavan Rupa Guna Leeladinam Vaishishtyam Kirtanasya Sausvarya Adimattam Varnita Bhagavat Charitadehe Guna Alankara Dhvani Adimattam. So the first type is like when a person expects the bhakti activity to be perfect, in the sense that when somebody is doing kirtan, he should do with nice musical instrument and nice musical sense. Put the raga and melody, everything should be proper. He expects that, right? The first type. And then Varnita Bhagavat Charitatehe Guna Alangara Dvani. When somebody is describing the pastimes of the Lord, there is expectation. You should nicely describe it. He should be a very good orator, and then he put nice sentiments into it, and he should also put nice gunas, that is good qualities, in the description. The flow should not be interrupted flow. It should just smoothly flow through, and then it should be very attractive. Also, it should capture our mind, and he should also put alankara, ornament, and dhvani, suggestions. All these things, he should decorate it. Paricharyadinam tadrisha swa abhishta deshapatra dravyadi sadbhavavatvam yad apekshade tat vastu vaishishtya apekshini. And then when somebody is performing, like let's say deity worship or any other worship, any other service to the deity, then he expects that that person should do according to my preference. I expect it to be in this way. You should do like that. The time should be proper. The place should be proper. If everything should be proper, it should be nicely performed. All these expectations are there in the heart. That is the first type of ruci, person who has that kind of ruci. Kim kidrisham vyanjanam asti iti prichatam manda shuddvatam iva. So this ruci is like a person who does not have so much appetite. When the person does not have so much appetite, and if you ask him for, sit and eat, he will ask what sabjis are there, what food is there, how it is made, why it is like this. He'll ask all these kind of questions because his appetite is not good. If you call somebody with a nice appetite, he won't ask question, he will simply start eating it. Okay. So this is the first type of ruci. It's somewhat low class. The second type is pratamasa iyam yata antakaranasya yat kinchit dosh lavaye eva kirtanadina maishishtyam apekshate ataha asti antakarana dosa abhasha gneya. So why does this happen? Still there is a slight trace of impurity in the heart, and that's why he is expecting excellences in all the bhakti activities. Dvitiya, how about the second one? Dvitiya tu yatha tannama rupadi upakrame eva balavati bhavanti. So in the second type of thing, if somebody chants the holy name, or somebody starts describing about the Lord's pastimes, he won't expect anything. He may not mind, that person should have musical sense when he's doing kirtan. He should do harmonium nicely. He should, align with the shruti. It should be very melodious. He won't expect that. And when somebody is describing the Lord's pastimes, you won't expect that it should be a nice flow, nicely orated, nothing like that. As soon as somebody talks about Krishna's name and the pastimes of Krishna, he'll start releasing it very forcefully. His taste will arise. But Vaishishtiye tu ati pravadattvam apadyamana iyam. So, but if somebody performs it nicely with a nice musical sense and nicely orating the pastimes of the Lord, then he will even more relish it nicely. So in this person, nasti mano vaigunya gandha eva gneya. In this person, there is not even a tinge of impurity in his heart. So the first one, the person who has first type of ruci, he expects excellences in bhakti activities. The second one doesn't expect all these things. The second one is said to be the superior one. Okay. So then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is going to tell us what is the mentality of this person who is having ruci, how he is going to talk, how his thinking process is going to be. So he's giving like that. Tataga cha aho sakhe Krishna nama amritani vihaya kim iti dushparigraha yoga shema varta vishesu nimajjayasi tvam va. You'll be asking, oh my friend, why are you engaged in the material subject matter, which is not going to give you any benefit, giving up the nectarian holy name of the Lord? Why are you immersing yourself into the material things, watching movie, sports, dramas, or discussing something, material things, all these things are the varta, material things. Why are you immersing yourself into that? Kim bravimi dhikmam yadaham api pamaraga shri guru charana prasada labdam api etat vastu swa granthi nibaddam maharatnamiva anupalabhya paritaha brahman etavantam kalam anya vyapara paravara madhye mityasukha lesha sputita kabardaka matram anvishya ayungshi vrita eva anayam. So this person, what he is thinking is going to be, he won't consider himself as also superior. He will be thinking that, oh, I am such a low-class person. My guru is actually very merciful. And he has given me this, his lotus feet to me. Still, I'm looking into the material things. As if a person who is hanging the gold locket in his neck, and then he's searching for that gold locket everywhere. So like that, I have obtained the mercy of Guru's feet. Still, I am looking at the material things. So this is the thinking of that person. Though he is in a very high stage, he thinks like that. The material subject matter is like a river. It has two banks. He's saying from one bank to the other bank of the material things, I'm just simply swimming around, searching for mithya shuka, an atom of false happiness. An atom of happiness, and that too, it is false. Just like a person who is searching for a cracked kauri or cracked shell. You might see that sometimes these kids, when they go to the beach, they'll be collecting all these shells in the beach. What is the use of that? There's no value, but they are just interested in collecting that. So similarly, I am also collecting all this material subject matter. And in this way, I have spent my whole life wasted. He's thinking like that. Bhaktehe kamapi anangi kurvan shaktehe abhavameva adyotyatayam. So I did not practice any angas of bhakti. And then I simply manifested my non-potenciness, which is I did not show up my Shakti to perform that. Hanta sahayeva aham saeva iyam me rasana ya hi anrita katu gramya pralapam Gramya pralapam amrutam iva lihyati bhagavannama gunavartasu sa alasa eva asid. So I am such a lowly person, and my tongue is also so lowly that it is always searching for talking about material subject matter, which is very bitter. It is also not sweet, and it's going and licking that all the time. But when it comes for talking about Krishna, when it comes for chanting, or when it comes for discussion about the Lord's pastimes and activities, I become very lazy. So pralapa is, the Amarakosha is saying, prayojana shunya unmatta adi vachanam. So that talk which is purposeless, prayojana shunya, there is no purpose for that talk. Unmatta, like a madman is speaking. That is what pralapa. When we talk about material subject matter, there is no purpose behind it. We are not going to achieve anything, anything tangential out of that. We still engage in that like a mad person who is just talking to himself when he walks on the street. Like that, we are also engaged. He's thinking like that. Hanta tat katha shravana arambe eva swapam bhajan tada eva kadachit prastutayam gramya vartayam utkarnataya labda jagram sadhunam sadaha eva tam sakalam alakalankyan. Alas, when somebody starts speaking about Krishna, immediately I get sleep. I fall asleep. And then at that time, if somebody talks about a material subject matter, immediately my ears become very pointed and become very sharp. It just wakes me up. And then I start listening to it very nicely. Okay. In this way, I have polluted the association of the devotees. This is what he's thinking. Asyacha dushpurasya jhatarasya krite jarataha api kan duskruta udyaman na akaravam. Just to fill this stomach, this belly, which is very difficult to be filled up. I have done so many sinful activities. I have become old. Still, I am continuing to do that. Tadaham na jane kasmin va niraye swakrita phalam upapunjamana sthasyami iti. I don't know which hell I am going to be placed because I have to suffer my own result. Iti nirvidyamanaha. So in this way, this person is lamenting, though he does not have these qualities. So why would he lament like this, even though he does not have all these bad qualities? Because he's thinking about his past stages. He has come to the stage of Ruci. In his past, what has all happened? He's thinking that is what he is performing right now. He's thinking about that, and then he is lamenting like this. So this lamentation is spiritual lamentation. This is not material lamentation. When we say anything is spiritual, then it is going to give bliss. Sometimes we materially also lament, oh, I'm like this, I'm like that, but that is not going to give you any happiness. That's going to give us misery. That's tamasic. But this is not tamasic. This is spiritual. Tadayeva. So before I move, anybody has anything? Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can you go to the previous, the types of Ruci? In this, the expectation and no expectation. You mentioned that the first category is low. So there you mentioned that like a person with, he's not a person with a good appetite. The second is a person who has good appetite, hunger. He will not, choose like what dishes are made and all. He will be ready to eat. So in the first thing, is he expecting excellence in his own bhakti activities or in other activities which he's either overseeing as a leader or a manager or like what is it that?
Yeah, he is expecting in general, anybody is performing kirtana or anybody is describing about the Supreme Lord's activities or anybody is doing paricharya. He wants, you go to the temple and somebody is worshipping there and then you want it to be, done in a specific way. Oh, he's not performing it so nicely. You should offer with nice articles. This, you should do like this, like that. All these expectations are there. And not only that, it should be in the dham. It should be performed in the dham. And it should be performed by this person, like this qualified person. And the dravya, the articles should be very excellent. All these things he is expecting from others as well.
Okay.
But again, we are talking about the Ruci stage. And we may have these kind of expectations even before that also. But this is specifically for the Ruci stage, which is a very elevated stage. Though it is said to be low class of Ruci, but it is still elevated than all these different stages.
Okay, so it is they still have the anartha of seeing some fault in others. Bhakti.
So they are not seeing the fault in others. He is expecting it to be performed nicely. Then only his taste arises. So I don't go and criticize the other person. Why is he performing like that?
But he thinks it could have been better like this or like that. Like something.
No,
like that.
My taste arises only when somebody performs it like that. So I don't get taste if somebody performs in a different way. So I just move on like that.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
And he has very, very, very an atom of Abhas. Abhas is a semblance of anartha. It is not even anartha. It's very like a semblance only. It is, we cannot call it anartha because most of the anarthas are destroyed by the stage of Nishtha. After that, it's all just a very, 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 very small trace only.
So, Prabhu, the first 5 stages or the everything, it is, a stage by stage. It is not any overlapping. There is no overlapping because earlier we have heard from others because sometimes they mentioned that there are some stages overlapping, something like that, and there is anartha nivritti even till last stage or bhava. So there is no overlapping, or it is in this order.
So you can there is going to be always like your shraddha is going to increase, even prema also. This shraddha is going to increase. So you can say it's like a demarcation. this is the main identity of the stage, right? Sadhu Sangha, it's not like after this we are going to give up Sadhu Sangha and all these things, or Bhajana Kriya, we are not going to perform bhajan after this. No, it is, we can say it is the starting point. So from this onwards, the Shraddha is going to keep on increasing. From this onwards, the Sadhu Sangha is going to keep on increasing. From this onwards, the Bhajana Kriya is going to increase. From this onwards, the Anartha Nivritti is going to happen. Nishta, most of the Anarthas are destroyed. You can say 95%, something like that. But then it is still going to continue until Bhava. After Bhava, there is no more Anarthas. So it's Prema stage, like it's a very pure. But you can say it's like, and from here, Nishta, steadiness is going to increase. And from here, Ruci is going to increase like that.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Madhurya. Okay, so we'll actually stop here.
Just one clarification is okay, Prabhu?
Yes, Madhurya.
So, Prabhu, actually, you were saying the same question even I too had, what Sudevi Mataji had, Prabhu. But you are saying that this discrimination is at the stage of Ruci, right? I mean, Ruci stage.
Mm-hmm.
But even in neophyte state, we make choices, right, Prabhu?
Yeah.
If we suppose we are listening to some lecture, if it is not as per our taste, we just, oh no, I'm not able to hear this. So even if it is devotee saying, so is it an offense, Prabhu? Because we make our own choices even at neophyte stage, right? And stage.
Yeah, it is natural, because even in the Ruci stage also it happens because we don't have so much appetite for Krishna's activities. But we are not going to offend the devotee, like, saying you are performing it very badly. He's a rascal, something like that. So we may just choose some devotee whom we like it.
Is okay, na Prabhu. Making choices in listening and kirtan or lectures is okay, Prabhu. It's not that we are rude to other devotees. We don't say anything. We don't hurt them, but we don't hear also. We don't listen to the lectures also. So just
yeah. But that also indicates the weak appetite also. We should understand it is because of our weak appetite. It is not the person's fault.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. What is the way to correct it? Like, while we advance in spiritual life, then automatically it will go, Prabhu, or so we have to do any particular endeavor to,
At least we can have a theoretical understanding in earlier stages. You're not going to have practically, maybe able to do it all the time. Theoretically, we can have the understanding. Yes, the person is chanting the Krishna's name. Of course, we are talking about devotee, not non-devotees. Non-devotees is Putam Harikatha, it's poison only. But here we are talking about devotees. We can think, he's chanting the Krishna's name. We can give respect for that, theoretically, at least. We are not able to practically follow.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Madhurya. Actually, people, if you want to drop, please feel free to drop. It is just one paragraph. We'll complete this chapter. I'm going to just quickly complete it. Not so much is.
Just one question, clarification on cross. So yes, you said Bhava stage, there is no anartha, right?
So the Prema stage is Prabhu.
Prema or Bhava?
So in the Bhava stage, the anarthas are not there, but there is slight trace of aparadhas, previously committed aparadhas may still be hanging, which is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, that the Jada Bharat was in the stage of Bhava, but he fell down because of the previous offense. Jiva Goswami says like that.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's all. So there's no anartha, but it's aparadha.
Aparadha, slight trace of aparadha, previously committed aparadhas could be there, the effect of that aparadhas.
Okay. Thank you, bro.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Tada eva kvachit aho rahaha bhuvi maha upanishad kalpavalli phalam saram saranga iva prabhoho charitamritam swadayan abhivadayan muhu api. So what happens after lamenting all these things, even though he does not have these bad qualities, what happens after that? He goes and goes into seclusion. Usually, you'll see that more like a Babaji kind of stage where he usually goes into reclusion. And what he does after that, he sits and relishes the nectarian pastimes of the Supreme Lord, which is the essence of all the Upanishads. He relishes it like a Chataka bird. So Chataka bird is which actually lives on the rain shower. So when the rain shower comes, it directly drinks from the rain shower. So it is said to be very poetic element, very poetically beautiful bird. So like that, he only relishes and lives in the shower of the Leelas of the Lord. He tastes it again and again and again, and he repeats it again and again and again. Sadhun avyadhuta samlapaha tishtan upavishan pravishan api. So then he goes among the devotees and then sometimes observes them, sometimes sits with them, and then sometimes enters into their discussion, giving up all the bad material talks. Api Bhagavad Dhama Baddha Amala Sevanishtaha. Even though he does all these activities, he's still very much attached to the Dhama of the Lord, like Vrindavan, Mathura. He doesn't give up his seva to that different dhams. Tan manaha unmanaha iva anabhignaha lokaihi alakshyamanaha. So he will be thought like a mad person by others. They won't know. They don't know the Ruci stage. He may not look like even a regular person also. Like we see the Vamshidas Babaji or Gaurakishodas Babaji, very look completely different. They don't look like regular devotees also. Bhakta Jana Bhajana Ananda Nritya Adhyayam Adyetum Upakramamanaha Iva Ruci Nartakya Panibhyam Grihitvena Tatta Shikshamanaha Iva Kanchana Mudam Ananubhuta Charim Upalabhe. So then, now he's explaining everything in a poetic terms, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So this Ruci is like a teacher. It's like a dance teacher. And then this person will be taught to dance, who is in the stage of Ruci. This Ruci dance teacher is teaching in the dance called Tasting the Service of the Lord. It is holding his hand and then making him dance. So basically, he is not acting anymore. He's not thinking that I should get tasty here, I should feel tasteful here. No, it is automatically coming. The teacher is teaching you how to put your hands here, put your leg here, everything like that. So his bliss is going to be like gold. It is going to be previously unexperienced bliss. Ananubhuta charim. Never it was experienced before. That kind of higher and higher bliss he is going to experience. Ajane kushilava acharibhyam bhava premabhyam kalena pravishya nartayishmanaha kasyama nivritini vriti virajayishyati iti. Soon there are two other teachers are going to come. They are bhava and prema. Very soon. Ruci stage is very close to that. And they are also going to make him dance like anything. And then after that, what happens? Only God knows what kind of bliss he is going to experience. It's going to be unprecedented and more wonderful. So in this way, the devotee's life goes on in the stage of Ruci and beyond. So here ends the 5th chapter. We'll stop here. We'll continue from 6th chapter. Only 2 more chapters or more. Okay. So thank you, devotees, for joining. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Arjun Prabhu. Yeah.
Thank you, Shankaran Prabhu.
Manchakalpatarubhasya kripasindhubhyev cha paitana.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mother.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.